Welcome to the new segment of the Magpie Podcast. This is just to be more inclusive, so if you don't like to read or struggle with reading, you can still get some of our content in a different way. So, welcome, and I'm going to be reading some of our newest stories. Beginning with what athletic recruitment is like on the inside, written by senior Payton Herr, and I believe this is one of his first articles. In July 2022, senior Jeremiah Miller received an offer to play football at DePaul University while on a campus visit. His head overflowed with excitement as he entered the DePaul locker room to see a fully customized locker just for him. His last name was above the locker, and below that were 3 customized DePaul jerseys with his last name on the back and his jersey number 21. After finishing most of the campus tour and lunch at Hoover Hall, Coach Dietz sat down with me and we had a long conversation about my interest in DePaul football and education, Miller said. They believed that I would fit in right away at boundary safety in their defense. At the end of our discussion, he offered me a spot to play football at DePaul and gave me a firm handshake. When we got to the locker room, I was letting everything sink in still when the coach told me to try on a jersey. And there was my number hanging with my name at the top of the locker. The recruiting process has changed a lot over the years. Social media has changed the ways communication between coaches and athletes. Organizations have now been created where athletes can put information and clips into a system and get directly seen by coaches. Next college student athlete is most well-known and experienced athletic recruitment program. It also offers recruitment courses to help athletes contact coaches and make their profiles stand out, although this program costs between $1,000 and $3,000. On NCSA, I have posted multiple films from my junior year highlights and also have information about my stats, height, and weight, GPA, and other tests such as 40 times. Miller said, not only does NCSA help with getting your name out there, but it also helps you find the right school based on your major. It will give you top matches for colleges, and you can also message recruiters/coaches. Senior Grayson Long has been traveling throughout Indiana visiting colleges such as Ball State, Indiana State, and the University of St. Francis. Every college visit is something new and different, Long said. Whether it is the campus or the coaches, each college that I have visited has its own distinct thing that makes them unique. The experience is awesome, meeting lots of new guys that can all play at high level is kind of cool to see how you can pair up next to them. Each visit is different from the others. At some universities, they offer athletes an official visit, which consists of everything being paid for, such as lunch and transportation. You usually meet the recruiting coordinators, and you receive a lanyard with your name and school attached, Long said. We then go and check out the football facilities, along with the locker rooms and meeting rooms. Next, we go and get food, which is provided for us. After eating, my parents and I went along with all of the other recruits and watched the game. Yes, that was a cool experience, but I like regular visits better. For a non-student athlete, each college visit takes 2 to 3 hours. However, an athletic campus visit takes 4 to 5, depending on what is included. And if you're interested in hearing more from Payton, he has written LHS track season kicks off. That was from last year. And the football team starts the season off strong. And that is from September 1st, 2022. In the second one I'm going to read, this will be the final one I read for this segment, is Anxiety. It Isn't You. Emily Sanchez, Managing Editor. And this was published September 3rd, 2022. As he started to pace around, the only thoughts occurring in his head were, what is going on with me? Or why do I feel like this? Senior Chris Hernandez was simply eating with his family when suddenly a panic erupted in him. Over the past few weeks, he had been worried about his health since it hadn't been the best. His chest began to hurt, and the panic became more severe, along with his body becoming cold and his head feeling dizzy. The more he tried to avoid it, the more it got worse. At this moment, he knew that something was wrong. Dad, something is wrong. We need to go to the hospital, Hernandez said. An ambulance was not an option, even though it was offered. There was no way that he would let his parents pay for an ambulance, even if it was for his health. The feeling was only getting worse, and he needed to get there fast. It was as if a huge pressure was surrounding his body, and he couldn't stop it. Breathing is the only thing on his mind as he finally lays down on the hospital bed. Anxiety has been one of the many struggles that high school students have faced over the years, according to New York Times Magazine. Today's American teenagers are suffering from anxiety more than in previous years, which can even be caused by factors such as stress, trauma, and even abuse. Pre-adolescents and adolescents are at a stage of development where they begin to place more and more importance on their peers and how their peers perceive them. Ford County Dr. Robin Young said, "This is also a time when their bodies are changing, which can make a teen feel very different and impact self-esteem, confidence, and efficiency. Teens are more likely to be anxious or worry about themselves, their school performance, including sports, and how others perceive them. Many things can happen if anxiety is not handled correctly. Some of these can even lead to harm and unhealthy habits for students." Symptoms can include withdrawal from school activities, irritability, trouble concentrating, sleep problems, somatic complaints such as headaches or stomach aches, a heightened sense of threat, a change in eating habits, depression, and substance usage, Dr. Young said. One of the many things that high school students do is avoid. Avoidance is often seen as, in teenagers when they feel threatened or when they're in a difficult situation. We see a lot of students wanting to avoid it because it makes them uncomfortable, forcing themselves to face or work through their problems, Counselor Allison Chambers said. With social media and cell phones, you guys are so connected now in ways we never were at your age. Whereas we could go home and shut off, you guys don't have the opportunity to shut off because it never stops. When it comes to their anxiety, students are affected by a variety of factors. Being in stressful situations where students feel attacked or threatened is very common and can even lead to anxiety attacks. I was on my bed and I felt as if the world was watching me just get defeated, Riverside City College student Moses Hernandez said. Gravity felt 20 times stronger, and I couldn't get out of my bed as I lay there with tears in my eyes and my breathing getting out of control. As the world and my peers watched me, I felt like it was crushing me from the inside, and I couldn't do anything but keep myself distracted to calm down. With proper support, anxiety can be treated. It can help to talk to someone or get a trusted adult like a school counselor or a teacher. Talking goes a long way when it comes to how a person feels. Bottling your feelings and avoiding your emotions can lead to many unhealthy habits, such as substance abuse and a risk for high blood pressure. Teens and adults will often seek out ways to alleviate the anxiety with unhealthy coping strategies, including alcohol, tobacco, and substance usage, marijuana, vaping, etc. Dr. Young said, long-term, this approach does not alleviate anxiety, but results in substance dependence and can lead to many problems for the future. Although many don't realize it, there are many things that people can do to help with their anxiety. Finding a support system and healthy coping mechanisms can help tremendously. You don't realize it when you're older, but everyone, just like everyone else, worries about what they're dealing with and what they're going through, counselors Chambers and Julia Ashbaugh said. Our thinking is linked to how we feel and behave. And with the right distractions, such as counting squares or making a list of things, can help. It takes a lot of practice and time to gain control of your thoughts and to stop the negative ones. I would advise high school students to take a deep breath and not be afraid to speak with a trusted adult or parent. We are here to help. Along the same lines, people may believe that anxiety takes over your life, but this is not always the case. I used to think that my anxiety would be something that I would just have to deal with for the rest of my life. But since my first attack at the restaurant, it's been getting better, Chris Hernandez said. I still have bad anxiety, but not as much as I used to. Before, I was worried if the smallest problem would cause an anxiety attack, but it's been a lot better ever since I got help from my friends and family members. I will continue to handle things the way I have been by reminding myself that there's nothing to be anxious about and that everything will be all right. I will continue to use strategies that help and help others with their anxiety as well. And if you want to hear more from Emily Sanchez, she's a junior and she's our managing editor, and she's written many articles over the past 2 years that she's been writing for the Magpie. Thank you, and if you're interested in hearing more, there will be more of this segment to come. Thank you.